what are you doing? This is a charity game. We're playing in the East-West Shrine. You're trying to break my finger? Pissed me off, man. I tried to kick him.
It's Sugar Snake Takes.
Welcome to the Sugar Snakes Takes with Jake Plummer, Rashad Evans, and Mike Slavin. I'm your host, Del Jolly. We're all part of UMBA, a functional mushroom company, and we've decided to come together to share meaningful stories to get you thinking, stories about sports, stories about the future of athletic performance, and pretty much whatever we want to talk about. So, welcome. Good to see you guys again. How y'all doing?
Good.
Great.
Made my way back to South Florida. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, you just did another podcast, right? You're driving back from a podcast, is that right?
Yep, driving back right now. Yeah.
Busy man, and fresh back from the Mushroom Summit that we just ran here in Denver, co-located with the Psychedelic Science event here in lovely Denver, Colorado, which it's about to rain, right, Jake? It's always about to rain this summer. Spring.
It's all good, man. It's all about staying moist around here this time of year. It's not everything green, so life is good.
Well, fellas, today we're gonna start our theme. As people know, we kind of start with a theme. We have some trivia. We have some audience questions, and today's theme we're kind of talking about like rookies and the come up, younger people coming up. The NFL draft was just very recently. Rashad, as you know, because you're hosting some tough stuff, some post-tough interview type stuff. Tough is kind of the UFC draft, if you will, to some degree anymore. But the question is kind of to you guys who have been in the game for a very long time and out of the game for quite some time now as well. What's the difference? What's the difference between younger players today who are now coming up, whether it's in the NFL or UFC, versus when you guys were coming up back in your day? I don't know. Either one of you want to start? Go for it.
I'll start it off. Well, in the fight game, early out, it was so much about how tough you can be. So a lot of our training was geared around like how tough you are and mentally and physically, more or less mentally, can you bring your body to the level it needed to be physically in order to deal with what you had to deal with inside the octagon. So a lot of our training was like, we'll run in the mountains and we'll do like these exercises where it was like these workouts where it was almost insurmountable. Like you weren't going to be able to defeat this workout. That the point of the workout was for you to fail and then see what you do once you failed. See what you do once you reach that point of just complete fatigue and just, ready to give in. And that's what it was all about, pushing from that point of view. And now, more or less athletes are starting to really dig into the science of being a mixed martial artist and really understanding their bodies from the standpoint of, understanding how to get the peaks out of it. Because before, we weren't really talking about the peaks of it. It was just train as hard as you can, then you make it to your fight, and then that was it. But now it's very regimented on how you get the fighter to peak for that performance. So it's gotten a lot more scientific, and a lot more tools are needed for or used now for the recovery aspect of it. And it just wasn't like that when I was going. I mean, we used to do sessions where it was like, all right, start out with the full rear naked choke, and you'll be in the choke, and the guy already kind of put pressure on it. Then you have to try to fight your way out of it. And you needless to say, you probably got passed out more or less than you actually escaped. But it was it was just that training back then.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of a story you told me once back in the day about Henzo. Remember that story? You were telling me a little bit about some crazy stuff that was going out in, was that Saudi Arabia? Or tell me.
So we're in Dubai, and this is part of the mental toughness, right? So they have like this horse race in the middle of the desert in Dubai, and it's like an 8-hour horse race where you have to ride on this horse. And I was out there in Dubai with the Sheikh Tafnoon, and I was out there with Henzo, and they had a horse race, and Henzo was like, "All right, I'll jump on a horse race." And then the Sheikh was like, "Bro, you had to be training for months for this. These guys are training at least 6 months to get ready for this race." And Henzo was like, "Nah, I grew up riding horses. I can do it." So he was like, "Yeah." So then Henzo decided to do the race. 8 hours. Now here it is. They're riding 8 hours in the desert, and we're following behind in these Toyota 4Runners, and we're going up and down. And it was it was hard for me just riding in the back of a car. So I couldn't imagine how it would be on the horse. But every 30 minutes, I have to go into this like shelter to cool the horse down, but then they'll race out again. But he did that for 8 hours. And, because he did that for 8 hours and he made the race all the way through, the Sheikh gifted him with a freaking Bugatti. That's yeah, but it was just a mental toughness. Henzo was like, I don't need to train for it. I'm mentally gonna just go in there and just put my mind where it needs to get it done.
You didn't get a Lambo
Dang,
or
so
anything just for being in the car or that consolation prize?
I wish, man. I wish.
you didn't get like an ancillary forerunner because you got car stick. Like, give Rashad one of the forerunners, but make sure you get Henzo that Bugatti over there.
Bugatti.
Pick your color, bro. That's crazy, dude. So what, they shipped that off to New York and now he's cruising around in a Bugatti or
to
what?
Jersey. Yeah, he's got one of those Bugattis in Jersey that the Sheikh hooked up for him because he did that race. But
Wow.
I mean, yeah.
Dang, that's a cool story, man.
How
was he after the race? Was it hard on him?
Oh, it was hard on him. His legs were just shot. He couldn't walk for a couple of days. Like his leg was all rashed on the inside. Like he was in rough shape, but he did it though, because not only do you have the elements of just riding the horse, but then you got the elements just from the sun and being out there and just racing the horse. So he was hurting afterwards.
And
so
he didn't know
what he was going to get, right? He just did it.
No, he didn't know what he was going to get. It wasn't like, you do this, you're going to get a Bugatti. It was like, oh yeah, okay, and the thing about it was the Sheikh was just so honored that he even, would just even try to do it. He was like, wow.
That's
Dang,
cool.
that's crazy. Yeah, and when he couldn't walk, it was cool because he just got in the Bugatti and drove where he needed to go. So yeah, I bet that's pretty hot, sweaty adventure there. Like 8 hours of training like that. That's wild. I love that. Snake, what do you think? What's your take on some of this younger athletes and endurance and things of that nature?
Yeah, it's funny you're talking about the draft and coming out as a pro. I played 4 years in college at ASU. I knew I had a chance to go to the league. I knew that was my next stop because after my junior year, I was asked by a reporter, "Are you going to come out early?" And I was like, shocked. What do you mean come out early? I got work to do here. So we had a remarkable year. We almost won a national title. But I remember after the Rose Bowl, just staying down in San Jose and hanging out for a little bit and going and playing in the Shrine game. Went and played in the Shrine game, and then I went and played in the Senior Bowl. So I played in 2 All-Star games, even though no one really told me, but I could tell like I was one of the top quarterbacks. I was going to get drafted. I wasn't worried about finding a team. But nowadays, even these kids, they won't even play in their team's bowl game. Like guys will sit out of the last game as an athlete with their team in a bowl game because the draft is looming and they don't want to risk injury. And I guess you could say, oh, that's smart, but you're playing a sport that you're going to get injured. It's just bound to happen. Football, you're going to get hurt. My theory was like, I just want to go and show these coaches and show these scouts who I am as a person. They haven't really been around me. They've seen me play at ASU. They probably talked to my coaches and other coaches. They have an idea of what kind of competitor I am and my skill set and what I can do on the field. But have they seen me in person, and have they seen me and felt me as a leader? So I went to these things, and at the combine, I was happy to be there, man. I wasn't stressing. If I went and failed at the combine and now I'm not getting drafted, then fuck you, NFL. Is that what I'm doing? A combine now? Am I supposed to be a combine ready player? No, I balled out at ASU. I put it down for my team. You can tell that my heart and soul where it's at, and that there's no way the game's over when the ball's in my hands. It's not going to be over. That was my MO. And so they put so much weight on this combine now that, dude, back when we were there, we wore like loose t-shirts and some shorts, and now everyone's in like tight girdles and showing off all their junk, and like it's all talked about. It's like, wow, what do you think the difference was there for Jimmy on that vertical jump? Did he get enough toe push, or was it more of his ankle vault? What does this matter? This isn't football. This is stupid metrics that have to justify why you're going to spend $2 million on some athlete that just busted his ass at this college he was at and showed you that he can play. But now it comes down to how many bench press reps he can get. Who gives a shit about bench press? This is football. On 4th and 2, it does not matter. It matters what you have in your heart. So for me, showing the scouts, showing the coaches, showing the players that were going to get drafted where my heart was and how I led as an individual, that was the most important thing for me. So I did everything, man. And I did it with a smile on my face, and I was happy to be there, and I was down to just do whatever it took because I loved the game. And so that's definitely changed. It's definitely different. The workouts for the scouts, the workouts for the coaches that we did at ASU, that's still the same for a lot of these guys. And also I stayed at ASU. I didn't go to class in that spring semester, but I just worked out at the facility. You know, I worked out with my old teammates. A lot of these guys now will travel down to, California, where their agent has a special spot set up where they all stay together. And now they have, nutritional chefs there to cook them all the food. They have everything you could want at your fingertips. These guys have before they even sign a contract or before they even get drafted. So the worry I have with that kind of thing is how much money are those guys spending to do that when they still have never made a contract. But some of the good agents will offer that without a fee, knowing that they'll get that fee back once their player signs. So it's good, though. These guys get to get together, know who each other is, get to know each other, and prepare for, a big moment in their life.
Yeah, that's rad. Didn't you tell me a story about someone trying to injure you a little bit on one of those Senior Bowl games? Someone kind of hit you like being a little too aggressive?
Yeah, he's actually a current coach in the NFL who played at Ohio State. We were playing, and at the bottom of the pile, I feel my my finger getting pulled off the ball and pulled back like this, and I'm like, what the hell? And as he gets up, and I see that it was him. I tried kicking him right in his nuts. I was like, get the fuck off me! What are you doing? This is a charity game. We're playing in the East-West Shrine. You're trying to break my finger? Pissed me off, man. I tried to kick him hard. He got a good cleat mark on the inside of his groin, but it pissed me off. Like, that just showed me a lot about that guy. Like, sorry for his grandma, but hey, grandma, you're going to get spiked in the face with a volleyball at the family picnic if it's this dude against you. He doesn't give a shit. He wants to win no matter what and win dirty, and that stuff doesn't float with me. You asked me about endurance too. I have to share a story of the most dynamic training guy I've probably ever been with. A guy who's insane endurance was Aeneas Williams, Hall of Fame corner, played for the Cardinals, St. Louis Rams. He, at a workout, we would go throw in the evenings at Chandler High School, and all the receivers would show up, and we'd all run routes, and he was usually the only DB there. Maybe there was a couple. He mirrored almost every route. He would mirror the guy. So he'd backpedal and he'd break with them, but he wouldn't try to deflect it. He'd let the ball be complete or whatever, but he would just mirror them. He did that the whole time we were running routes. The receivers petered out and left, and he's like, hey, Jake, if you're not too tired, can you throw me some deep balls? I said, well, what do you mean? He's like, just throw it as far as you can. I want to run them down. I threw until my arm was done. I'm like, Aeneas, I can't throw anymore. I'm done. And he's like, okay, that's cool. I'm packing up my balls to leave. And I look over, and now this dude's running 110s. He's running 110s, and it's like, holy smokes, man. The receivers I had came, ran some routes, and left. He stayed, and then he stayed even longer running, and that guy had the most amazing endurance. He raced David Boston, who ran a 4.340. He's like, I'll race you, and I'll beat you. And David's laughing, thinking he'll run a 40. And Aeneas said, we're going to run 100, though. We're going to run the 100 meters. And sure as shit, Aeneas took off, and David had a lead on him, they're going, and that endurance kicked in, and Aeneas and passed him and won and beat him in a 100-yard dash because he had that deep, dark, seated endurance. And that guy was amazing.
That's rad, man. That is rad.
We got the boxing bell, guys. You know what that means.
Bell.
It's time for another round of Suga Snake Showdown. Let's bring it up. This week, we're talking about standout rookie performances. All right.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
There we go. So we've got 6 questions for you this week. Each of you are going to have a chance to answer 2 questions. And just as we did last week, you'll have 100 points for the first time you answer, 50 for the second, and then 25 for the third. You don't get a fourth chance because obviously there would only be 1 question remaining. And we're going to kick it off with Jake. We're going to give you a football-related question here, Jake. In his first game as a professional, he threw 422 yards, the most ever by a rookie in his NFL debut. He also became the first rookie to pass for more than 4,000 yards in a season.
I'm going to say it was Cam Newton. I'm just going to go on full on, drive into my deep intuition. I'm going to say the answer is Cam Newton.
That's B, Cam Newton. All right. Once for you, Del. At UFC 282, Raul Rosas Jr. became the youngest UFC fighter to win his debut. How old was he? A, 18, B, 17,
A, 18.
C, 19, D, 20.
18.
You're going with
Got it.
A, 18? That is correct.
Yep.
Del locking in 100 points.
Oh, nice.
I thought I would head
Very
fake you on
nice.
this. I thought you might go for 17, but you got it.
Yeah.
No, because I followed that dude because, my God, 18 years old fighting men in the UFC, that is one bad child. That's ain't no joke. 18, 19, 20, 21. That's pretty crazy to be that young and to be able to take on some 33-year-old veteran, So I knew that that kid's a stud.
Awesome. Well, this next one's for Rashad. We're going back to UFC 1. Who was Royce Gracie's last opponent at UFC 1? Was it A, Frank Shamrock, B, Gerard Gordeau, C, Dan Severn, or D, Ken Shamrock? What do you got, Rashad?
Oh, I am going to say Ken Shamrock.
I'm going to go with D, Ken Shamrock. That is correct.
Oh,
Nice. He gets it. I would have said Dan Severn, but I'd assume that you would know that, Rashad, because that's your boy.
Yep. Dan brought me up in the game.
Now we're moving into some sports that these next round here is gonna be a little harder here. And this is gonna be for you, Jake. Timo Solani in his 1992-1993 rookie season shattered the record for goals scored by a rookie. How many did he score? This is hockey, by the way, if you didn't know who Timo Solani is. Was it A, 52, B, 98, C, 49, or D, 76?
I'm going to say that he scored D, 76.
Jake says D, 76. That is correct.
Yeah. Good guess.
Very good. They play a lot of games. That's a lot of goals, but dang.
I figured they play, 160 games or 100 and something. I figured he probably didn't score every game, but half of them maybe. So
it's 82 games.
Logic went into it.
Nice.
All right.
82. Oh,
82
dang.
games. You're right. That's baseball's 162 games. Yeah. All right. Well, still, there was logic involved.
Enough to get 100 points.
All right. 100 points to Jake. And now this question is for you, Del. Mark McGwire set a record in 1987 that was since broken in 2017 for the most home runs hit by a rookie. How many home runs did he hit that season? Was it A, 39, B, 44, C, 49, or D, 52?
Oh, okay. So this isn't the home run record. This is the home runs for a rookie.
For a rookie, yes.
Dang. Okay. Because I thought 61 is like the record. I'm gonna go D, 52. Jake, you shaking your head. Last time you did that, you said Mickey Mantle. So I ain't even gonna take that from you.
It is not D.
Okay. B, 44.
It is not B.
Oh boy. A, 39.
It is not A.
God bless it. Oh. All right.
The correct answer was C.
Dadgummit. I would have said A, but yeah.
Is the home run record like 61, isn't it? Or it was, at least when wasn't it Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire who were kind of going back and forth on that?
Yeah.
Let's see. In a single season?
All right.
That's what we're looking for. Let's see.
Yeah, that was a big season. A lot of juice, orange juice and cranberry juice, and some good juice was going in the baseball player. Yeah.
Anything to make that thing more exciting. My God.
Let's create a petition. It looks like Barry Bonds currently holds the single season record with 73, and that was in 2001.
That's right.
Final question here, or we got a question for Rashad. Question for you, Rashad. Eric, an unprecedented performance in the 1980 Winter Olympics. How many gold medals did he win in speed skating during these games? This was his first Olympic appearance. Was it A, 3, B, 4, C, 5, or D, 6?
He did 5 gold medals. 5.
You big
is the
Eric
answer.
Heeden fan, Rashad? Oh!
Confidence.
Oh! Man. Yeah,
I remember
no
that.
idea. He just swang in the dark, connected. 5.
That gives
I was only
Rashad
6 years old when that happened. So
200
I wasn't even
points.
born yet.
Jake has 200 points as well. All right. Let's move to the community question here. This is from Goose Dad. And this question mentions football as it was directed to Jake, but we can, obviously weave in MMA here as well. And given the lasting impact of football or MMA on your body, what do you currently utilize to offset those impacts on your body and mind?
That's a great question, Goose Dad. It's been a process for me post-career to understand where I want to be first and foremost, whether that's physically, mentally, and also spiritually, I would add. But through my time, through my retirement, as so you say, but as I retired in my 30s, I've been doing a lot of things, mainly staying active and doing fun stuff that I like to perform and be challenged in, not necessarily lifting weights or doing all that maintenance we had to do playing football, but more just being active, mountain biking, riding my bike, playing handball, playing basketball, hiking, doing a lot of stuff like that. Now, as I'm 48, my body isn't slowed down, but time is actually the thing with having 3 kids and a lot of stuff with umbo and things that you have to do. I really try to just make sure that I spend some time breathing deeply every day. And usually that's when I wake up and I go through a little breath work and try to get down and meditate a little bit. and think about how the day is going to go. And then also, I really am cognizant of what I put in my body. I'm very aware of how foods and alcohol and those kind of things affect my body. And I've had a lot of great response to using functional mushrooms, along with using hemp oil when that was my first kind of step into nature as a way to heal. And now I do really every day. I take my mushroom tinctures, eat my bars, and let the mushrooms do what they do, which has really helped me with my inflammation in my body. A lot of the inflammation in some joints and areas has gone away. And with that little bit of decrease in inflammation and pain levels, now I can be more active, which then in turn helps me on the spiritual, physical, mental side to approach life in a much more healthy way with a lot more vitality and energy and zest for what's next. What am I going to do next? And so that's what I do. Yoga is a big part of that also. That's really my workouts, is to do yoga. I don't do it every single day, but I try to do it 4 or 5 times a week, whether that's hot yoga or my own personal practice, as I'm a certified yoga teacher trainer. So try to do that myself and just maintain my own maintenance on my body and my mind and my spirit.
Awesome. Rashad, the question we have here for you, you can replace MMA, or you can replace football for MMA, but given the lasting impact of MMA on your body, what do you currently utilize to offset those impacts on your body and mind?
Functional mushrooms have been probably one of the biggest things that I've been using to kind of bring my body back, just to recovery mode. Years and years of just being on his body, and even still, I'm still using it in the capacity of training and working pretty hard still. But it's been the mushroom, because they help so much with the inflammation and just kind of help more or less, even with bringing my body, working on past injuries. I had 2 ACL surgeries, and the inflammation in the knee was probably one of the main things that kind of slowed down the healing of it. And even still, it just allows me to be, have my motion back, so the inflammation the inflammation relief that I get from the functional mushrooms have been just tremendous. But I also do a lot of stretching. I felt like, when I started to get injured the most is when I became the least flexible. So, I start off my workouts with a really good warm up session, really good stretching. And even after I'm done, it's not like a wham, bam, thank you, ma'am body. I'm done, and go back to whatever I'm doing. Right when I get done from training, I take my time to stretch out and kind of decompress my body to allow it to, get the stretching, get the movements in that, can kind of help offset some of the early onset of what the training has done. So it kind of eliminates the soreness once I stretch like that.
Awesome. If you are in the UMBO community, if you follow Rashad, if you follow Jake, and you have questions that you want them to answer, keep your eyes peeled on their Instagram, on their Twitter account. There's going to be opportunities to ask these questions, and we're giving away free UMBO product when we choose your questions. So make sure you follow those guys, follow us at Get UMBO, and there's going to be opportunities for you to ask your questions basically every week.
Right on. Thanks, guys, for the answers to that. Thanks for the question, Goose Dad. And that will be a wrap. So thanks, fellas. We'll catch you out here soon. Peace.
Pour out the door.